Welcome to the 13th episode of How to Get Better at Chess with Chess Concepts. We're looking at the 900 ELO game here, and it starts off with the Scandinavian. Let's get right into it. We're gonna learn, we're gonna laugh a little less, but let's memorize this. If knight c3, the line here, I recommend queen d8, the most safe one, or queen a5, but queen e6 is not a good one because we'll see in this game the queen is a very bad piece next to this e-pawn. The pawn cannot move and it's very stuck there. Let's see, knight f6, knights develop, knights out. I like this. And now a pawn in the center. It is a pawn in the center and it is going to push to d5 if you're not careful. d5 attacks two pieces you cannot take because you lose the piece. So the queen is a very bad piece here and you are forced to move it again unless you play a knight move, which is not a very good move. But let's see. You can blockade the pawn, but you see white has pre-moved all of these moves. I mean, he pre-moved every move. He should think now, but he doesn't. He plays a knight moving to the center, moving the second time with the same piece. And if the knight moves into the center, you should have the tension there. Because if you take, you are getting rid of black's problems, which is the fork. The queen is here targeting everything. He's taking space. But if you castle, as I did in the game, he can take that knight all he wants. But I'm now opening up the bishop. Like, he lost that piece that he moved the second time. He lost it. He lost the tempo. He has to move the queen. Yes, I did not fork that, but I'm still doing very well here. Now he plays f6. It's trying to restrict the knight's movement, but I don't think you need that. c4. c4 I like because it's trying to take space. After e5, which is his only idea to get the bishop out. Now the question here is, should you take? Or should you push? Or should you not do anything? Should you play c3? Should you develop? Here the best move is to play c3. To simply get rid of this pawn and remain the tension. The tension is all you need. If you take, you'll have these stupid pawns and he will trade queens and have a pleasant position. He doesn't even need to castle anymore because the king is now even safe in the center. So you should not allow a queen trade. c3 is the move here, but also there is d5 going in and taking space. But now you should look at where your bishop can go to. Where can the bishop go? What do you move here? What do you do here? Do you bring out the queen? What is the primary objective here? Do you play a4? Do you play bishop b2? What's the best here? If you want to get better at chess, you must calculate your opponent's moves as well. How does he get out of this collision of pieces? He plays knight g6, bishop e7, and castles. So he has 3 moves to castle. What do you do in 3 moves that creates threats? Maybe bishop d3. Then you can play maybe some sacrifices. When he plays this, you can bring out the queen. Bishop b2. Now you're creating threats. You have so many pieces out. I think they're all staring at this side. So you should have a setup in mind. You should expect that the opponent tries to castle this side. So what you do here is you perhaps play bishop d3, open up the rook and bishop at the same time. When he plays knight g6, you can play bishop b2, e7, queen e2. You can also take advantage of the pin here. Always look for pins. knight here. If bishop develops, then you can get the knight to e6, and that is a very nice square. The king cannot castle anymore. So take a look at the position. So have this position in mind, that what is the objective here? How do you develop pieces? After knight e7, bishop d3, because I've had knight g6, he tries to castle. You take advantage of the pin, and you get the knight there. Or if you don't see it, you develop your bishops. You are looking very nice there. Queen e2, go queen e4, and I think your pieces are developed very actively. Because I play knight h4, and it's simply a bad move because the knight does not have any entry. I'm trying to play bishop there, but g6 is just the move that stops it. He plays g5 for some reason. Now bishop h5. Okay, I'm gonna look past that blunder, but basically there was check. If knight takes, then you lose the pawn, and king moves, and then you bring the knight back, and the king is still in the center, which is good for white. But knight f5 happens. I lose a piece in one move. We're fine, and I lose the pawn as well. I should try to fight back with bishop d3 here and go for this check. It's still a good check, or this check. But no, and the opponent doesn't take. Now, if you have a choice whether to take or push, what is the best idea? Do you want to create your opponent some problems, take away space, or not? Because if you take, there is a queen trade. You don't want to trade pieces when you're down a piece. So you should play d6 and go for checks, create threats. But I take. And after he takes, I should give a check and move the queen. Look for checks, but I go for a different concept, putting the rook on an open file. But unfortunately, there is a difference in all of these moves. What concept is better? Should you put a rook on an open file? Not here, because the priority is to not trade pieces, and the priority is to look for checks and give the king a check and move the queen. But unfortunately, I play with the rook. He trades instantly, and I really don't have much here. I can give a check again. I play bishop d3. It's fine, but this blunders a pawn. I mean, that pawn was undefendable, I guess. Maybe there was bishop c3. There was c3, trying to create some problems. I guess knight to e6, and then bishop e3 to defend the pawn, I guess. But I blunder the pawn. Now, how do you defend this? Because these pawns are annoying. You cannot get the rook to the 7th rank. Well, develop the bishop to a better square. This is now a target, a pin. I think 92 here is dangerous because you initiate more trades. Meanwhile, you should have probably thought ahead for after this check. You should have eliminated the check with king f1 perhaps. Yes. And then played bishop e4. So you should prepare your moves after you look for your opponent's checks. Bishop e3. Now there is a check again, but he doesn't find it. He instead plays this, and I mean, it's blunder, it happens. It doesn't mean to happen, but it's just one move tactic. You are initiating a trade that doesn't work. So I win a piece there. Rook d8. Now, do you trade rooks here or not? Is there a problem with trading first? I said keep the tension. And create a loft for a king, because there could be back rank checkmates. You should keep the tension, I think. You should create a loft for your king. Rook d3 is an idea, but it relies on making a pawn on c2 to a d3 pawn, And I don't think that's a good idea because now the pawn is on an open file that needs to be defended by the rook. So I think rook d3 was a miss. So e4, trying to get it off the file. It goes back. Now I think white wasted a move here. I think he should have doubled rooks. I think he should have doubled rooks, which is a beneficial move. Because now you can go there and there. Yeah. Rook d5. Now another trade. Do you want this c6 pawn to turn into a d5 pawn? Now the pawn is on an open file and you can target it. And these pawns are stopping this from becoming a passed pawn. I think you should want that because now the bishop is targeting this, now the rook is targeting this. It's very tough for black to defend. But instead I play bishop d4, losing the bishop on the spot. It's better safe to trade, I think, so that you don't lose your pieces or get in trouble. Yeah, sometimes it happens. Now there's a check. He doesn't even take the rook for some reason. But yeah, sadly the black structure is too powerful. There was a pawn on c5. I try to create threats, but it trades off rooks. But he loses this pawn, unfortunately. And white's only idea here is to create this pawn into a queen. And for that to not happen, well, first black has knight c3 and checkmate. But if you don't have a checkmate here, you can calculate, okay, if I bring the knight back, his threat is c7, only move, I think, right? And if I bring the knight closer, he has check and he makes a queen. So that's also a pattern that you need to know about. He could sacrifice the rook to make a queen. So you have to bring the rook to c4. But how do you can bring the king closer as he did in a game. Because now when you push c7, you play rook c4. And you bring the knight back and you eliminate the pawn. You try to use your pieces. You play king d7 next move as well. And you win the pawn. But what happened here was that rook c4 was never played. He instead played king d7, but it's a skewer. A check, an only check was missed, and it's a skewer, winning the rook. Winning the rook. Now, knight versus rook is a draw. Maybe not at beginner level, but white has 3 pawns, black has 5 pawns. Now, white is trying to go rook a4 and eliminate this pawn, make a double attack. Knight c3 check, good. King e3, f5. Sadly, there is also another fork, another check missed. Only check here. Look for checks, captures, attacks. Only check missed here and upper rook. King b5. Now I can go attack both these pawns. f3, trades off pawns. f4, still winning. Like being upper rook here is very nice. Now the easiest way you win this, I have only 1 minute. The easiest way to win this is to go for these pawns, take all 3 pawns and sacrifice the rook for this pawn, and you promote. That's the easiest way if he has only 1 passed pawn. But I play rook d3, I'm giving him time. I'm giving checks, which, yes, you can win this pawn, yes. But I don't go for that. I'm giving the king tempo. I'm giving him time. I'm not moving the king to get pawns. I'm bringing the king closer. I'm trying to get the king. I'm trying to get the pawn with the king. Yeah, that doesn't work. The king is shielded. I play h3, just waiting, but I play king e2. Now it's all different because black will be up a pawn here. I'm losing on time. I allow the queen. After check, there was rook a3 or rook d1. Actually, rook a3 to go for the pawn. If you have 12 seconds, you have to be really, really careful. You cannot pre-move here. Because if you have guaranteed a winning endgame, I mean, king d2 is not a winning endgame. You have 12 seconds. You have to find the logical move, even though you have low time. Because when you play rook a3, he's going to come closer, and now you can pre-move. You can pre-move everything. If you are low on time, you can pre-move, take these pawns, all to make a draw at least. Because if black does not have any pawns, you will not lose on timeout. That's the thing with increment. That's the thing when you are getting flagged without increment. You can go pre-move, taking all these pawns, and you will at least have a draw. But what I did here was that I pre-moved very, very uncarefully, and he made a queen, and I lost. Lost on time and lost on board. So we have this opening, which is the Scandinavian. I would recommend playing queen a5 or queen d8. You play queen a5 here. I mean, then maybe develop the knight. Then you play c6 to bring the queen back this way. Bishop out, knight d7. Yes, that's how you get your setups correctly. But this happened, and the opponent went in with the knight. Meanwhile, he should develop pieces and look for threats, get some more experience. If d4 moved, it's gonna go to d5. I like castles, takes. So white had more development, but yes, you should go for concrete ideas there. Bishop d3, bishop e2, and develop the pieces, great threats along this diagonal. I will not castle here short as black. So knight h4, that's not how you do that. You should not go for an attack with a lonely horse. You should try to take more space one by one, one by one. And some blunders happened here, but you should trade off, basically. You should trade off, make a love for your king, so that you don't lose any pieces. I lost a piece. And it was enough to lose the game. Actually, it was not enough to lose the game, it was like enough for my opponent to blunder here after I make a pass pawn. And the knight was blundered as well, as I saw. But the easiest way, just sacrifice the rook for the pawn, go for these pawns and promote. Which is you should play a little bit of bullet for that to practice, or you can practice as well. You can go practice against the computer. I'll show you. Right here, this button, this is the practice against computer. Now you can practice all these positions all by yourself with time and without. Very useful. King b3. All of this was unnecessary, and when I was low on time, I panicked and I lost. So if you like this video, I thank you. You are doing very well at learning, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. See you.